Hello! Hi! How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another WrestleTalk community Q&A thing. Hi, I'm Chopper Pete Quinnell.
It's going great so far, Pete.
This is Luke Owen.
I'm moderator today.
He's just moderating stuff, and he's going to be asking me the questions that you guys are asking me in the chat. We've also got a live streaming announcement, which I'm going to be doing in a sec. Do you not have the thing up?
Sorry? No, I do. I just wanted to check in.
All right.
You do
I'm just
Pete.
checking.
You do you, Pete.
All right, fine. I'll do me then. I'm not even barely in the shot. I need to move around here. This is going so well to start with.
You've had all day to prepare for this, mate.
I know, and I had it prepared for a different setup that I thought we were doing. And very quickly
I came in here and I throw a spanner right in those works.
So, first things first, I guess we'll get the announcement out of the way first, and then I'll talk about Wrestle League. So, live streaming, that's a thing we do now. WrestleTalk Live, we do lots of those every week for Raw and NXT and AEW and SmackDown, and they're really, really fun, and we like hanging out with you guys. And what we've done since the start of when we started doing the live streaming, and at first we also had a third person, we had a producer that did this as well. Anytime you guys super chatted in, we'd read out your questions and comments and other things and opinions that you had after the first talking point and at the end of the stream as well. But it's kind of gotten to the point now, and this is, I guess, a good problem to have, but the streams are now really long. And the prime reason for that is because we get so many super chats in now. So, so first things first, thank you for all the support that you guys give us. It's really, really great. However, it's now making it so that the content we want to provide to you is now not the same content because it is drastically longer, and we've seen, it's gone from 45 minutes to an hour to now an hour and 15 to sometimes an hour and a half on some streams. So that's just, and it will turn people away. If they see a video that's an hour and a half long instead of 45 minutes, they might not be as inclined to watch it.
Yeah, one of the common complaints we've had about WrestleTalk Live since it's gone live is that the show's now too long.
Yes.
And they haven't got time to watch an hour and a half's worth of content 4 times a week.
Exactly. And obviously there's something that people may say is like, well, just don't watch the super chats then. But that's not really the point if we've got on the thumbnail, it will say this video is an hour and a half long. And regardless, no one knows how long the super chat section is of that video. So it might be they don't know how much of that they can't watch. So they're just going to go, well, I just won't watch it then. So what we're going to do, we're going to trial this first. We're not just going to make a change because that's the whole point of these community updates is to, talk to you guys and get your feedback on it. We're going to trial this for 2 weeks to start with, and we're going to listen to your feedback during that 2-week period, and then we're going to review it afterwards. So here's what's going to happen. So on every WrestleTalk Live now, we're not going to read any super chats out at all. So they are going to be done with.
That's different for pay-per-views.
Different for pay-per-views. On live reaction streams, we'll still do that, although I don't know if it's going to affect the 2-week period. It's TLC. It's December 15th. Yeah. I don't know if it's part of that 2-week trial, but we'll figure that out.
Well, pay-per-views we're never going to change anyway, so pay-per-views we're always going to have comments read out.
Yes.
Because we do it in between matches and stuff. It's really good to get user feedback.
Yes. So those will still be read out on pay-per-view, live reactions, things like that. However, the WrestleTalk Live review shows that we do, 4 a week of, we're going to add a little thing on the stream where notifications will pop up when someone super chats in. So it will pop up and it will say, this person has super chatted in this amount, thank you. That's about it. However, if you super chat in at about $10 or more, whatever that means in your currency in the world, you get to have your name has super chatted in this amount, and the message that comes with it, so normally your question or comment or opinion that you put with it, will also show up on the stream. However, if you super chat under the $10, then it will just be, person has super chatted in this amount, thank you. That's what we're going to be trialing for 2 weeks, but none of those super chats will be read out by the people on the streams. And that's just being done to try and cut down the size of the content to make it a better viewing experience for everyone there, because one of the prime complaints we've had from the live streams is the super chats. Yeah. Because they bog it down, they drive the focus away from what the stream actually is. So as much as they're great for us, we want to try and make it better for you guys overall.
For everyone.
For everyone.
It was a big talking point of the podcast this year as well, because when we went live, we also started putting the super chats into the podcast, which we felt should be in the podcast because it was really good, like, fan engagement. But actually, the majority of the feedback we got from people was that they hated the super chats. They wanted them rid. So we did a poll. The poll came back. It was fairly close, but it was to keep the super chats in. But I have noticed we've got less podcast viewers probably since that change. So I think that it has effectively driven some people away. So our hope is that this kind of like brings people back. People who don't like the super chats will then be like, brilliant, I just get the wrestling content. And everyone wins?
Yeah, because you still get, if you want to help support us with the streams and you want to super chat in and help that way, that's great. And you still get, your name still pops up on the stream, and we're still going to have that little ticker that comes across the bottom that displays all the super chatters' names. That's still going to be there. So you can still get, your credit on the stream, just it's not going to take away from the actual review that the people on the stream are doing. If that makes sense.
Ironically enough, we've had a super chat in.
Yeah, I should have led off with don't super chat in.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be going through the regular comments, not super chats on this one. So,
but I'm just going to read this one out now. This is from Obo that says, I disagree that longer times will turn people away. I know in America, for example, it's common and popular to have 3-hour talk shows about sports and politics. 1 hour to 15 to 30 seems small by comparison. That is true, but if you look at the viewing figures that we had earlier this year to later this year, there is a change.
There's actually a change. So while it might be better for some people, they go, wow, more content, awesome. That's not the trend that it shows for the rest of the channel. So there's that.
Yes.
So we're hoping that this change helps everyone to have better videos, and it's going to be good for you guys. Yeah, sorry, my laptop's bad. I know you have to try and deal with that. I know. Also, just a quick one. You may notice I'm wearing an amazing t-shirt right now. Just saying, it's got a nice
Very nice.
It's got a nice
When's
little
that
thing.
available?
It's going to be available this Friday.
This Friday?
This Friday,
Wow.
Luke. Can't wait. New merch Friday.
With a Black Friday sale.
Black Friday sale.
Yes, you get 20% off on your first day.
It's going to be great.
A couple of other comments that people have paid for, but please do not super chat.
Please stop super chatting.
Just leave a message in the chat.
Yeah, we'll get to
from
the chat in a
KJ says,
second.
justice for Pete, he was robbed in Wrestle League.
I'll get onto that in a minute.
Also, congrats on your engagement.
It's not you, but thank you.
Jobber JJ, if it makes you feel any better, Ollie Davis did get 50 points, but it's part of my name and not Ollie Davis himself. Thoughts on Morrow missing NXT?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the situation about Mauro and Corey and all that stuff to truly comment on it, because I don't know. I don't think anyone really truly knows the whole details of it. So we'll see how it goes.
And Pavi says, hello, Pete the loser. That's
Hi.
undisputed.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, now we're just going to answer some comments. So I'll try and get some of your feedback as well on what we just announced then. Do you want to take people through the Wrestle League?
Yes, the Wrestle League debacle. So, yeah, Luke's just going to look at what you guys think, the general feedback of what you guys think about this change for the live streams. But for now, if you guys missed the WrestleTalk Live Raw review yesterday, Survivor Series was the culmination of Season 3 of Wrestle League. And as is tradition in Wrestle League, out of everyone in the office, whoever loses overall has to do a music video punishment. And going into Survivor Series, we thought that I was 2 points behind Ollie, who was 1 above me. And as it turns out, I thought on the live reactions that I had beaten Ollie. In fact, by 1 or 2 points, however many it was. And it all came down to if Ronda Rousey came out at the end of the show. She didn't. I celebrated because I thought Ollie has to do the music video punishment and everyone's happy. Everybody wins, apart from Ollie. But then, on the WrestleTalk live show yesterday, it was revealed that there'd been counting mistakes, there'd been algorithm mistakes, there'd been all sorts of stuff that had gone wrong during the entire course of the season. And as it turns out, I lost overall. Mainly because Luke and Ollie made a bet, and Ollie won the bet.
Yeah, Ollie won via the bet.
Yes.
Well, Ollie didn't win, but he did not come last via the bet.
Yes. So, what we're saying is that I lost Wrestle League Season 3 because Ollie and Luke made a bet that they didn't speak to anyone else about.
In all fairness, I lost Wrestle League Season 3 because of that bet.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't win overall.
Well, no, exactly. I would have won.
Yeah, you would have.
I would have won the league, but I'd made that bet with.
And what's worse, not winning the league or losing the league because of something else that someone else did?
Definitely mine.
That was your risk.
Definitely mine.
That was your risk on your bet that you made.
It's definitely
I
my
wasn't
thing.
part of this bet.
My thing is way worse. You get to, according to the comments, Pete, you get to have fun. And
I
sing
don't
a
get to
song.
have fun. I have no time. We need to record this thing this Friday because I'm off work all next week, okay? I'm off. I have holiday booked in all next week. And I need to record this on Friday when I'm not going to find out what song I'm doing until Friday.
Yeah. So Ollie said, like, we need to air it on Friday. And I was like, well, the poll's not going to go up till tomorrow. And he was like, I guess we'll find out Friday morning then. And I was like, yep, we'll find out what Pete's song is on Friday morning. And he is going to have to make a whole video, like, during that Friday day.
Yes.
So it can then go up. I don't know if it's going up on Friday.
I have no idea what's happening with it.
It's definitely not going up on Friday.
Absolutely not. However, suggestions for my music video, punishment video, which should be Ollie's. It's now up on Patreon. If you're a $25 and above pledge hammer on Patreon, you can go over there. There's a post that says suggest your Punishment Martinez songs. Put your song suggestions there. Generally wrestling themes.
Yeah, we like to do wrestling themes.
Themes.
And then the poll will be up on Patreon, up on YouTube in the YouTube news tomorrow.
Which is my news. So that's going to go up on tomorrow's news video. And the poll will be in there. You vote on that poll, and then whatever one wins, I have to perform. So give me something good,
you do.
Please. So that's Wrestle League. Also, Season 4 started now, because that started with Survivor Series, and that's going to go to the Rumble. So let's hope I don't get screwed again, huh?
Shivam Sharma just left a message which made me laugh. They said, was Wrestle League a work or a shoot?
It was a shoot. I was at home, and Ollie tried to call me. I missed his call.
No, I was gutted you didn't pick up.
I know. My phone was on silent. I don't know why. I didn't turn it on silent, but it was.
Winning Thief says, are you bald lads jealous of Simon Longdon?
No.
Oh, and his luscious hair.
I mean, it's pretty decent hair.
His hair is so nice.
Yeah,
it is lovely.
It is very good.
Although I did a video.
jealous.
I did a video yesterday that I'm not allowed to talk about currently. But and I actually looked at it, and I've come around to this whole bald thing, and I'm actually like, you know, I'm quite glad it's this way.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to upkeep.
Yeah. Anyway, but these are questions for Chopper. I'm just here to
here we go.
to add. So, what's your dream match featuring Keith Lee?
Oh, there's so many. Anything involving Keith Lee is inherently a dream match, I think. I'm gonna say if they're given like proper time, proper story, big stage, I really want to see Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre. Nice. I would love to see that match, especially because they teased the Survivor Series and stuff.
The game Sinji, have you heard of Rise Against?
Yes.
I mean, there was no follow-up question to that. It was just, have you heard of them?
So yes, I have.
Thank you, Sanchez Taylor, who said, personally, I prefer the longer videos, but I'm mainly a podcast listener. Podswafters.
Love them.
Christopher Hamilton says, love the longer shows, makes my workday go by.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be a long show. It's still going to be, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
So it's still keeping the majority of the length, but it is just going to be an actual review rather than just talking about... Because especially sometimes Super Chats can generally be about anything rather than what the show is about, so it kind of flits all over the place. So this will keep it a bit more focused on what the stream's about. Madhav asked, are you from England? Yes. James William says, I have 2 kids and a job. I watch every minute. Wow. That's amazing. Chuck Pride said, I'd ask, but these dudes, never answer my questions. Well, this is a question that's been answered. Let's find some good ones. Mark Young said, I will be honest, that's why I started missing a number of episodes. I love your content, but sometimes there isn't enough time. Love your guys and love your content. Lovely. That's exactly what we want to hear. Vito Ventura, never too long. Lovely time with the boys. Lovely time with the boys. Well, thank you very much, regardless. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Donald French wants to bring back Ollie's jacket. Game Synergy's followed up. Have you listened to Rise Against? No. This is very good. Shivan was also a fan of the longer videos. Cool. Jobber JJ says he'll watch no matter what. Yep. The real YT. I don't like the hour and a half. I'm not watching, and if I'm not watching live, there are too many commercials added to the show after the live streaming. I mean, it's always been the same, right? It's always been the same amount of time in between the ads. But obviously, if it's an hour and a half, there's going to be more ad breaks than there is if it's a 45-minute. But the ad break, the minutes in between the ad breaks, has never changed since we first started doing them 3 years ago. Yeah. So that's always the same.
Yeah. Kit God wants to know the punishment video, what's it going to be? So we don't know
We don't know yet. We're getting suggestions from Patreon as we speak.
What suggestions have caught your eye from those?
There was a few there. A lot of them weren't wrestling themes, so probably not those. There was a couple. There was Keith Lee's Limitless was one.
Yep.
There was... Oh, I can't remember. There was some that had like wrestling. There was 12 Days of Christmas, but with wrestling terminology,
So
which
you'd
I
have to
found
write your own
fun.
version.
I'll be so down for that. There are a couple others that I absolutely, definitely didn't want to do that I think I've erased them from my memory after seeing them.
The Crockabilly says, couple of questions, Pete. When you were poker streaming, there was a mention of a Sunday and Monday night, but I worked and looked for the VODs, but there were none. Did those casts get cancelled?
No, I did the Sunday one. The Monday one I didn't do because I was basically asleep the whole day. I was very, very tired. But I did do the Sunday one. The VOD should still be there. And there's been cut down videos on Screenstalker's YouTube channel as well, which you can go check out.
Gadgeteens thinks it's a bad idea to get rid of these super chats. So it's mixed response to that so far.
Okay.
I was actually expecting it to be more... I actually thought it would be more positive about getting rid of them.
Yeah.
Paul J. Redman says, on an earlier video, you mentioned being on Challenge TV. Why did you decide to switch to YouTube rather than another channel?
That's not really a question for me.
The contract that WrestleTalk had with Challenge came to an end, and we already had the YouTube channel. We had a YouTube channel that was just doing daily video content, so we just thought we'd just focus all of our energy on that rather than try and take it to another network because UK TV networks don't really have an interest in wrestling. The AEW UK TV deal is testament to that. That ITV were interested to a degree as long as they can put it on Monday night to 20 to midnight.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Ahmed Solihin, have you guys ever been to a Southeast country? Love from Malaysia.
Southeast Asia. I mean, I've been to India. That's the closest I'd say. Went to the Himalayas. That was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Loved it.
The Mikey Chaos. Have you ever thought about seriously becoming a professional wrestler?
It depends what you call serious. When I was 17, I was deadly serious about it. And then I turned 18 and 19 and 20, and then I wasn't, and then I was less serious about it. So it was a thought, and then it was always a thought, and I never actually took any action upon it. So depends how serious you call that.
Marakomu, or Malcolm, asks, what was the moment that got you into wrestling overall?
Well, I only started watching wrestling when I was a very young kid because my brothers watched it. My older brothers were watching it, and because I had to be as cool as my older brothers because they were the coolest people on the planet, I had to do what they did, so I started watching wrestling. But then when they grew out of it, I also grew out of it, and then I started watching it because of the Nexus, honestly. Although, weirdly, the first thing I saw from the Nexus was the SummerSlam match, and I fell back in love with wrestling because of that, which is a weird paradigm because lots of people switched off at that time. But yeah, it was a Nexus because they're super cool.
Fred Bucks wants to know, what's your honest opinion on The Fiend's red lighting for his matches? He digs it.
It's really hard to say. I get what they're going for. I think if it was more subtle and not as overt, it would be better. I think it's just very hard to see what's happening properly in the red light. So I think if they had more of like they like turned down the lights, or they had a slight red tint to it, not like an overt like you're all red now, I think it would be better.
It's really funny, so because we've done Survivor Series 97 for the Patreon podcast, which is going to be going up. It was meant to go up today, but then I took my lunch was longer than I planned. Now I'm doing this, and I'm going to be on Screenstalker's Twitch in a bit. So it's going to go up tomorrow. But that pay-per-view features Kane's first match, and there's no lights.
Yeah.
And it's amazing watching that. It's like, wow, 20 odd years later, and they're doing the exact same thing for the Fiend.
Same thing,
it's
man.
It's really, really weird.
Yeah.
It's such a and it was just so funny that we watched that pay-per-view at that time during this sort of red light thing.
It's all the same, man.
The Game Synergy back with another music questions. Have you heard of 21 Pilots?
Yes. My lady partner is obsessed with them.
Are they good?
They have one or two good songs.
Oh, like Guns N' Roses then.
That's about it.
Oh! Shots fired. I honestly don't care about Guns N' Roses. Pavan, do you guys wish you could attend every WWE and AEW show irrespective of where you guys live?
As in, like, do I wish that every show was, like, near me so I could go to it, or would I have to travel to every show? Because that's very different. No, I would absolutely not want to travel to every show. If it was near me every week, it would be a cool thing to do weekly, I guess. It's like, oh, we'll just go down, watch the thing. And if it was free.
Gadgetines thinks getting rid of the super chats is a bad idea. James says, I don't think anyone complained about the super chats. Oh, there were.
They did.
They were,
Absolutely, we did.
Particularly in the early days of that.
Yeah.
Joey wants to know what happened to Luke's hair. What happened, Pete?
You shaved it, mate.
I did.
Yeah.
I was going bald. Yeah, Aslan, what's better, NXT or AEW?
Well, depends who you ask. My humble opinion, I prefer... Me and Ollie did an entire stream about this, about tribalism and whether it was ruining wrestling and all that stuff. Go watch it. It's a good show. I prefer NXT. Ollie prefers AEW. They're both really good shows.
DH, what's the point of sending super chats or even tuning in? I tune in for the interaction with the viewers. Well, on that, like the feedback that we've had is that people wanted the reviews. When we started doing the super chats, people were so against it because they just wanted to see the reviews. So we thought this would be the best of both worlds, really. We still get super chats on screen, but it goes back to being about the reviews, which is what people liked about WrestleTalk Live in the first place, or Wrestle Ramble as it was.
Precisely.
Yeah, in the first day.
And then, I mean, we've got these videos where we, interact with you guys on here. We've got the Patreon mailbag, which we do on the Friday show now. So we've got other things that help us interact with you guys. We just don't want it to be, we don't want it to take away from the reviews, essentially.
Yeah. Happenable says that he doesn't like the idea, but we'll give it a try. DX, people are babies. All they will do, people are going to just stop sending super chats then.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, and actually we expect that there's just going to be less super chats sent in.
Significantly less super chats, but we want to get the reviews back to being reviews, essentially, and make it better content for all of you.
So, reading between those lines, we're effectively making less money doing it this way, but we think it's going to make a much better viewing experience for everyone.
Absolutely.
Kev Chang, I always use WrestleTalk when I go on truck deliveries. It's so good, don't shorten up the content. The podcasts are longer because you get the intros and outros, so you can go there and get extra free content. Durden says you might be losing out on people giving at the smaller amounts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. But this is why we're going to trial it for 2 weeks and see how it goes. And if it's catastrophic and everyone hates it, then, maybe we'll go back.
Yeah, that's the key to it as well. It is a trial period.
Yeah.
Hansgang is like, I can't watch the streams live normally, and seeing the long time means I won't watch them.
Yeah, and that's exactly the kind of people that we want to try and coax back in, who we might have, alienated slightly by doing all the super chats.
Don Triol Bailey says, am I going to do the SmackDown review in 5 minutes, or you, Chopper Pete?
Me.
Yes.
I'm still doing Saturdays to do the SmackDown 4-minute reviews.
The Game Synergy says, happy birthday, Chopper.
Thank you. It's my birthday.
Mark Young says, do a weekly super chat question-specific video. Well, we still did that in the mailbag.
Yeah. It's hard to balance both, because we do want to keep the Patreon mailbag, and also we want to do super chats. Maybe... See, we were talking about this earlier in the office about the alternate routes to it. So we'll see how it goes for these 2 weeks, but we might end up doing something similar to that eventually. Maybe. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Paul says that in his opinion, the longer videos are better. I may not be able to catch it live all the time, but the content is good. The Crockabilly says, would you guys, someone just super chatted, you're not supposed to be doing that. Would you guys be okay with us sharing our Switch IDs on the stream for the purpose of friending so we can Dynamax raid together?
I would say that the stream isn't really the place for that. There's a lot of forums and stuff. I'd much rather that the chat focuses on what the stream is about, ideally. Obviously, it's a bit of a community, and obviously I want you guys to, all talk together and to have fun and make friends and all that stuff. But I don't know if doing Pokemon raids is the place to be doing it. There's a lot of other places you could do that. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I need you to fill a bit more time, mate.
Well,
sorry, the chat just refreshed.
Speaking of Pokemon raids, isn't Sword and Shield a great game?
Okay, so I'm very sorry, chat, but the chat just refreshed, so I've kind of fallen behind on it. But, so I'm about to jump to a different section. Adam Curran says, I am Liverpool's number one. Ryken says, besides D&D, what other nerdy stuff are you into?
Wrestling. And stuff like Fire Emblem and Pokemon and The Dragon Prince season 3 just came out and it's awesome. Go watch it. It's really good.
Flaming says, what's the one video game that you hate that everyone loves?
Don't know if I hate many video games. Hate's a strong word there. There's the loads that I don't play or I'm not good at, but I wouldn't say that I hate them.
Kit Cott says, hey Pete, please tell us how you got hired.
I was really good at my job.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Well, I started off, I was watching a WrestleTalk video, and I saw at the end of it, Ollie did a little bumper being like, oh, we're looking for website writers. So if you want to get in contact, email whoever it was. I think it might have been Jay Dixon, maybe. I don't know. Email this person and see if we can get you writing. And I was like, I'm going to do it. Why not? I've got a bit of time. So I did a sample article and emailed it in. They were like, we really like that. Do you want to write for the website? I was like, yes, please. And then not too long after that, it was MediaCon. And Randy Andy Datson, who obviously I'd got to know through working on the website with him for a month or two, he was like, hey, are you free? I was like, maybe. I was like, why? I was like, we need hands for MediaCon. You have hands? I was like, yeah, I do. I will come to that. So I went to MediaCon, met Randy and everyone, which was super, super rad. And then not too long, in fact, I think the day after that, various things happened and Randy called me and was like, do you want to be an editor for the website? I was like, yeah, why not? So then got bumped up one place to an editor on the website, was doing that for a few months. And then in February this year, I got a call off Datsun being like, hey, we're going to launch this channel called Screenstalker. You like video games, right? I'm like, yes. It's like, you used to have a YouTube channel doing video games, right? I was like, yes. So then I emailed him being like, here's my YouTube channel, here's what I used to do, here's things of me presenting and all the stuff that I've done before. And they were like, you sound good, do you want to come for a screen test? I was like, yeah. And then I came for a screen test and they were like, we like you. I'm like, rad. So then I started here.
It also helps that you were one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. So it was a very easy decision to make.
Making me blush.
An old soul that says, I really like the longer episodes. It's nice to see long breakdowns of the segments. Please keep that up. That's not changing.
Yeah, that's absolutely not changing at all.
The review portion of the show is not going to change. If anything, there'll be more of the review.
Chances are, probably.
Because the problem is that when we do the super chats, is we try and then rush through the review because we don't want the video to be too long.
Exactly.
So it's like as soon as we get to sort of like that hour mark, we're like, oh Christ, we need to try and wrap this up.
Because we've still got the super chats to do.
Yeah. But if we don't have that, then we can actually spend more time on the reviews. We can all be, here to talk about what we were here to talk about.
Exactly.
Andrew says you should listen to Rise Against. It will change your life.
Well, maybe.
Ivan says, what would your dream Fatal 4-Way match at WrestleMania for the WWE title be?
Dream 4-Way? Keith Lee? He's genuinely my favorite wrestler on the planet right now. Keith, Balor, Kenny Omega, and... Why am I forgetting every good wrestler on the planet right now? Adam Cole. There you go.
Then ZXC Chopper. Why don't you like Natalya?
I think she is all right. And I think that she shouldn't be all right for as long as she's been in the company. And I think that's the worst bit.
Anthony says that everything after 2005 Rise Against sucks. A lot of Rise Against chats.
A lot of Rise Against, yeah. It's not what I thought I'd be talking about on this stream, if I'm honest.
John Eby says, have you guys thought about doing punishments like Cultaholic?
No, because we can't do them as good as them, and they will always be better, so why even try?
Exactly. So a few people have asked as well about your thoughts on the Jim Cornette situation.
I mean, I think everything about this situation has already been said by a lot of other more well-informed people, so I don't really have anything else to add.
Dan says, how do you guys feel about Jim Smallman leaving Progress to work full-time with WWE?
I mean, fair play to him if that's what he wants to do. If it's going to help his life and, make him more money or whatever. Cool, man.
And on that subject...
Jim, cool, man.
And on that subject, Martin wants to know, what do you think of IPW UK folding?
It sucks that there are a lot of UK promotions going under right now. It's not fun, especially because we've been to a few indie shows and stuff ourselves, and I've been to some as well. It really sucks that it's not as strong as it seems, but I'm hoping that there's going to be a bit of a resurgence in time, hopefully. Things always come back around, so I'm hoping that wrestling becomes cool again, and then we can get a nice big resurgence of the UK scene. I think that'll be rad.
Drew, I'm just going to pick one at random here. Drew, do you think that Jeff Hardy is done with wrestling?
No. I don't think he's ever really going to be done with wrestling.
Ooh, Omega says Pete should do the pokey rap. Yeah! That's a great one.
It's not a wrestling theme.
No. But
maybe I'll just do wrestlers instead of Pokemon.
Do you know the pokey rap?
No.
Oh, mate. I would have thought.
Obviously, I know of it. I just don't know it.
No, but
heart.
I would have thought that you would just know that.
See, that's the thing. I was never really that into the anime of Pokemon. I was never really into that side of things. Like I remember bits of it, but that's about it. I was very much. I spent all my time playing the games and then replaying the games and then replaying the games because that's what I did.
I was going to give a recommendation to you this week. Actually, What a Cartoon, the podcast recently did an episode on the Pokemon series and did this big long. It was about an hour and 20-minute long history of like the inception of the game and then how the anime came about as well. But because you're not into the anime, you probably wouldn't be as interested in it.
It's still interesting. Also, that's about 20 minutes too long. I reckon they should take the super chats out of that.
Very good. Very good. Nate drops surname. Will you still be reading super chats on your own? I feel there are a number of super chats that provide value to your review based on your commentary on them.
An idea that's been thrown about is to have a third person on the stream, not necessarily to be here on the stream, but to be in the chat, respond to super chats, chat among people. So the people on the stream won't be reading the super chats because they're going to be doing the review, and that's what they need to focus on, is just doing the review and providing the content for all you guys. But the other person, possibly, we don't know if we're going to be doing it yet or not, it will be reading the super chats and things like that and still interacting that way.
WrestleTalk asks, Pete, why do you suck at predictions?
I'm going
to guess that's Andy.
I wouldn't have lost at them. You can tell it's Andy because he didn't put Andy before it. Everyone else in the office puts their name so you can tell who it is. Andy's like, I am WrestleTalk. So yeah, it was definitely Andy. Also, I don't suck at predictions. I wouldn't have lost if it wasn't for that stupid bet.
You still came joint last.
No, I didn't.
So you still sucked?
No, I didn't.
Davis had a terrible night for Survivor Series.
He had an awful night. I had a really good night as well.
2 right. It was a great comeback.
I got like 7.
Yeah. It
was great.
Ryokin, were you ever made fun of because of your height?
Was I ever made fun of because of my height?
Yeah.
yeah. Like every day of my childhood. Oh. Yes.
Oh, it breaks my heart. It breaks my much taller than you heart.
And it wasn't even just because I was short, it's because I had a baby face as well. So I looked like I was much younger than I was. So I was such an easy target for bullies and stuff. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you to Leslie as well, who says, as our moderator in there, along with Lady Lou, who said, bald Owen looks much better.
I agree.
Very much.
I
agree as well, actually. I look back at my wedding photos now and I'm like, I wish I just shaved my head. Because now I've got to look at these dumb Como photos. Thankfully, my wife really liked it. Philip says, I find that these super chats are a fun way for all SWAFT members to interact with you, and they often make us all laugh. Which is true.
I think that's true.
It's what the mailbag's also for.
Exactly, yeah. That's why, so we're keeping the Patreon mailbag to hopefully still keep that, and potentially these, Q&A streams where we just kind of chat to you guys is also part of that.
Yeah. Stealth says, what's your favourite shiny Pokemon?
Oh, there's so many. Greninja, Rayquaza, Trevenant, loads of others that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. There's loads. I have so many. Clawitzer. Keep going.
Nate says, is there a way you can just filter out the super chats and just have them so they're only related to the show being reviewed at the time?
I guess that's possible.
It would require us to have a producer on here, and the idea was that we were essentially losing 3 people to do the reviews, and the idea was to try and so that that third person can go and do some other work.
We could just do it. The moderator that currently curates the super chats and provides them could just not give the ones that aren't about the show that we're reviewing. It's possible, but then it gets into murky territory because we want to, I feel like we want it to be equal for equal credit for everyone who's helped support us, regardless of what they're talking about. But we'll see.
M. Believer says, don't ditch the super chats. By far, I've had my first. Jeff said, I dislike the super chats. I don't feel strongly about this, however.
Sounds about right.
Path said, you can put on 45 minutes of the show and then link the uncut podcast in the description.
So we do.
But that would require. So the whole point of us going live in the first place was that we didn't have to do any editing afterwards, because that was where we were losing a lot of time in the day. Is that me and Ollie would pre-record it, or me and Laurie would pre-record it, and then we would edit it down and then post it up later, which is why the Wrestle Rambles used to go up much later than everything else. Yeah. The whole point of doing it live is that was one less job for us to do.
Exactly.
And the super chats became sort of like an extra added bonus of that. But the idea of going live was to just reduce the amount of hours we were spending on doing other editing bits.
Exactly. So we didn't have to do editing, but so if we had to do an uncut podcast with all the super chats and everything, then it would have to be a full edited video on top of that, which means it would go super late, and a lot of complications.
Denish has asked about 20,000 times, can you show some love for his country of Nepal?
Sure. Love for Nepal.
The Elite asked, what's your favourite match from 2000 to 2019?
Favourite match?
So the last, so the decade, batch of the decade.
Probably Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano at TakeOver 25.
Of the last 10 years, Pete.
I've only been watching since 2010.
Come on. Yeah, so, but that's exactly that's the perfect period of time we're asking for.
You said 2000. Since then, I've only been watching.
I said the last decade.
Oh, right.
Well, mine specifically was last decade.
Yeah. Or Money in the Bank 2011.
There you go.
They're also very good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Omega Okada, man.
Yeah. I'm not as emotionally invested in Omega Okada. I wasn't watching New Japan before that.
Jay says, I would like Chopper Whopper's Pokemon Corner as a video series on Screen Stalker.
I'd like that.
Charles says, what type of music are you into?
Bit of everything, really. I don't really have a specific thing. It depends what mood I'm in. I can listen to pretty much anything.
Thomas says, I was reintroduced to wrestling and preferred the shorter videos from WrestleTalk until I fell back in love with wrestling because of Ollie and Luke. Now I listen to every piece of content, just listen no matter what the time is.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
WrestleTalk. Honestly, Pete, why can't you guess what will happen at wrestling shows?
You know what, Datsun? Just because I'm not messing with the numbers, just because I'm not the one responsible for the scores and fudging my predictions so that I always end up at the top, just because I actually watch wrestling, Datsun.
Datsun watches wrestling. Range Punks, Thundercats or He-Man? That's the true question.
Oh.
It's well after your time, though, isn't it?
That is, yeah. I'm going to say He-Man.
What?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I think I would still go Thundercats. Even if it was a theme song and little else.
Yeah.
The actual show itself does not hold up.
Yeah.
Like a lot of shows from that period. James says, why don't you ever discuss the probability that AEW wins ratings wars because many people are watching NXT on the network on a Thursday? Are network ratings obsolete in determining popularity?
Yes. It's possible. I mean, yeah.
That's in
possible.
Rest of world viewings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the ratings war. But then you may as well say, like, you don't count DVR numbers. And but that's because advertisers don't count DVR numbers and things like that. No, what the ratings that people are looking at it's what the advertisers and sort of like the networks are looking at. They look at what the live viewing figures are and then sort of add DVR stuff in as a, like, well, that's also nice. But if you're trying to sell adverts on your TV show, which is the whole point about owning a TV station, you want people watching it live because then they get adverts and then
can't skip them.
Yeah. Whereas if you're watching DVR, you can just fast forward things. A lot of people saying the red light's great. People are really enjoying the red lights.
Give me the red light.
Alex says everyone likes complaining.
That's true. Everyone does like complaining. Even me.
Jay says, guys, to solve the issue, how about limiting the number of super chats a person can make, which will make some people on topic and not have so many to read, which will keep about the same?
It's hard to say. I mean, yeah,
there's no way to police that.
Yeah.
Because people will just make the super chats on their own.
Yeah.
So, like, if we are not in control of when the what super chats come in, if we accept them or not. They come in. So if someone wants to leave 20 super chats, they're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it might just be a case of literally having the moderator, just say, there's your 3. Can't do any more than that. But then they still can do the other 17 of them. But then it becomes a case of, well, there's some streams where we don't have that many repeating ones. We've just got a lot because people have a lot of things they want to say. And then that becomes a very long stream. And then we get into the same place we were in before.
Leslie, our moderator, has said, Luke, controversial.
Very.
I assume that was my Guns N' Roses comment, who I think are broadly fine. I think they have got good songs with an irritating lead singer.
I would mostly agree with that.
Callum says, what's the one podcast you'd recommend?
The WrestleTalk podcast.
Suck up. You suck up.
I don't know, actually. If you're into D&D, the Saturday morning D&D podcast is a good one. I like it.
Ask Pete, as from Lady Lou, ask Pete about Twitch mods, since people keep asking everyone but him.
We don't have them right now.
We don't have enough people in the Twitch chat.
Not really, no.
Right? It's like 15.
If you're talking about Screenstalker Twitch mods, then maybe we'll look into them at some point, but Twitch is just like an added little, we also stream here, instead of like a full, we're not going to stream exclusive content to Twitch or anything like that. So
From WrestleTalk in all caps, Chopper Pete, why you lose predictions though, with a Z.
It also says Chopper Peter as well.
Chopper Peter, very good.
Shut up, Datsun.
I'm just getting through a lot of the same questions. People are obviously repeating their questions to make sure they get seen. Fiery Ember, do you see more members of the LGBT community becoming in-ring performers? I want this, but I feel there is still a faint stigma against it.
Yeah, it's a hard situation, but the only way it's going to change is if more people do it. Really, the thing is, if it becomes more commonplace, then people will get more used to it. So the people that aren't as used to it will get more used to it. So don't let people stop you from doing stuff, basically.
Exactly. Dr. Joe says, I'm glad the super chats are going to be gone. I always mentally tuned out when they were happening.
Sounds about right.
Jade also says, don't worry, Pete. Whatever song you have, she is offering her musical services to help you out.
Oh, well, thanks. I'm sure Jade can, auto-tune me or something to make me sound better.
She's not a miracle worker. Joseph says, since we're doing music questions, what do you guys think of Frank Turner? Do you listen to him?
No, I don't.
Okay. Hey, I need you to fill some time, man. I'm trying to moderate chat here.
People need to give me better questions.
Oh, Pete Quinnell shoots hard.
Pete Quinnell turning heel confirmed.
Okay, why do you guys less criticize AEW and over criticize WWE? I got that feeling. That's why I asked you guys. Hope I will get a reply. Sorry if I'm wrong.
We've spoken about this extensively. And Ollie and I did a whole WrestleTalk live stream about tribalism and preferences, about AEW and NXT and all that stuff. And I would say we don't. In fact, if you listen to last week's AEW WrestleTalk live review with Ollie and Luke, the vast majority of them was them criticizing the Battle Royal and things like that. So, there's a lot of stuff they do criticize, but it doesn't stop it from being a great show. And I think that's the difference. When you have stuff that's really bad on Raw and SmackDown, it's actively damaging stuff and it detracts away from the rest of the show. Whereas something that AEW and NXT do very, very well is even if there's something that's not as good as everything else, it's still okay. And it doesn't actually damage the product or the talent that it has.
Anson says, my wife is always listening to 21 Pilots. They're okay.
Yeah, sounds about right. I'd say the lead, I want to call him a singer, possibly. He does sound thoroughly uninterested in most of the songs. So, very little emotion.
I've never even heard of this band. I'm so out of the loop.
21 Pilots, yeah.
I got excited because Faith No More were announcing new tour dates yesterday.
21 Pilots did some songs for the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, but no one saw that.
Yeah, I know, but I figured that might be something that you've heard of.
Yeah, I have heard of Suicide Squad. The less I think about that film, the better my life is. Bala Figs, I think the Super Chats being abandoned is a great idea. Most of them are annoying and silly and unfunny. I usually click off after the pay-per-view or show review is done.
Well, I'm glad we can hopefully entice you back now.
Oh, well, this is a good bit of feedback from Mr. Mister. If the ticker showed the question instead of the money donated, I'd prefer that.
Okay. The ticker is hard to do simply because it can't display all the messages unless we only do like one message at a time and then it's just gone. If we just replace the entire ticker, or we've just got the notification, I don't know. We'll figure out the logistics of it. We'll try what we've got first, and we'll see how it works, and we'll see what people think about it, and then we'll review it and maybe change it up after those 2 weeks.
Well, okay, says, who should face Shinsuke for the IC title?
Keith Lee. I don't know. My brain is frazzled right now. Who's good on SmackDown? Kofi Kingston.
Jojo Circus says, why have live reviews then? To reduce
so we don't have to edit
reducing on editing time, yeah. Craig Taylor says, Pete's punishment video should be 10 chops from Walter.
Oh, God, no. Could barely even handle chops from Rampage.
More on that coming soon. Right, my thing's just refreshed again, so I need to find myself.
Fun.
I know, right?
Speaking of chops from Rampage, new merch coming Friday. That seems like a really odd, nothing link to it at all, but trust me, there is a link to it. You'll see in time.
This is from Jesse. Pete, do you like Linkin Park?
Yes.
Were you crushed about Chester's passing?
Yes. I listened to Linkin Park for like 3 days after his passing.
Mate.
I loved Linkin Park. They were great.
I remember buying Hybrid Theory. It was
great album.
It was literally the day of release. I hadn't heard of them before, but I was in a record shop. It's called Rusty's Records in Reading. It's not there anymore.
Nice.
But that's where
Rusty's Records in Reading.
Yeah.
Jesus, a lot of R's.
I know, right? But yeah, so I used to go there every Saturday with the money that I'd earned from my newspaper delivery, my paper round.
Yeah.
My £14 that I would get per week. Like a millionaire. and now again, this shows my age now. It was to get me into town, out of town. It would get me a CD, and it would get me some lunch. Now I felt like it would barely get me into town.
Yeah.
But I went in there and I heard a track from it, and I was like, this track's pretty dope. Like, I'm going to buy this album. And I was like, this is rad.
Yeah.
And then I never liked anything else they did.
Really?
I've only ever liked Hybrid Theory, but Hybrid Theory is a great album.
I liked the first 3 albums they did. And then after that, I was like, and then I stopped listening to them. But the first 3 albums, really, really good stuff.
Any thoughts on the Copa situation?
Not particularly. I'm hoping it's all okay. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, let's just hope that YouTube we're putting so much faith into YouTube getting this right.
Yeah, exactly.
Valabar, which generation has the best designed Pokemon as a whole? There is a right answer.
5.
Who was in 5? Again, I've got to try. I feel like I'm
so many
blood
cool
from
Pokemon.
bloody stone. You give me some more answers. I'm trying to find questions here.
Because they've got Hydreigon, Haxorus, Gigalith. They've got... See, it's weird. Generation 5 has the worst starters. Like, pretty much objectively, the worst starter Pokemon. But then they have such cool mons throughout the whole thing, like Galvantula and Ferrothorn and Excadrill and Hydreigon and the other ones that I mentioned, and Volcarona, and the legendaries are awesome. Zekrom and Reshiram are great, and Kyurem and stuff. Genesect, they're really, really cool, but they just have the worst starters in the world.
Zach Icon Linder says, the super chat totally changes the experience of watching. I dislike it. It feels alienating. I enjoy the interaction.
I feel like those are contradictory things. Totally change. Super chat thing, I dislike it. It feels alienating, but then he enjoys the interaction.
Yes. But I think because Zach is one of our prolific super chatters, so I think he's saying that it alienates him because he can't join in a chat.
Right. Okay.
I think that's what
with it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Ishan, in terms of in-ring crowd reaction, memorable reigns, matches, and moments, who do you think is the best of the decade? Who has had all of them?
In-ring crowd reaction, memorable reigns, matches, and moments.
Yeah.
Who do I think is the best? I'm probably John Cena, you'd think.
That person also said John Cena.
Yeah.
Gonzalo says, could you do a D&D podcast on Screenstalker? Much love from Portugal.
Again, another thing I would love to do. We'll see.
Intech5252, any WrestleTalk US tours coming in 2020?
If you pester Ollie enough, maybe. Yes, please. I'd love it.
Marquise says, I just started playing Dungeons & Dragons Homebrew. I'm just wondering what your favourite race and class is to play. # lovely time with the boys.
Lovely time with the boys. I don't really have a favourite. I've not played too many yet, honestly. My Halfling Rogue is pretty cool. I like him. Wasn't a huge fan of my Paladin that I played. I just want to play a lot more stuff first before I can fully, take the reins and say what my favorite is. I'm really excited to try and play a Way of the Four Elements monk. I think that's gonna be rad. I can't wait.
I saw a really good one there that I wanted to do.
Oh no!
Oh, sorry, it's from Hell. Hell Gets Win, who says, "Guys, can't you just do the super chats at the end of the live stream and then delete the last pass for people who watch it later?" No. And that's actually it's not possible, and you can't edit a video once it's live.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But hey, bug YouTube. Maybe they can make that change. They're changing everything else in the back end.
Yeah.
Jake Leach wants to know if you like Rammstein.
No. Sorry.
Oh, that one is a...
I know.
That one is. Also, I agree with Rage Punks that Primus rules.
Sure.
Primus do rule. Desmond, is Kofi Kingston a Hall of Famer?
I mean, Hall of Fame doesn't really matter. But yes, he's had enough Intercontinental title reigns. If he stays in WWE's good books, they'll put him in the Hall of Fame eventually. Maybe as part of the New Day, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, they're going to put everyone in eventually.
That's true.
KitCot, do you play Pokemon competitively?
I did. I didn't do Gen 7. I didn't really do Sun and Moon properly. I definitely didn't do Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I might get back into it for Gen 8, but don't quote me on that. But I definitely did for Gen 6 and part of 7.
Kyle says, do you like Primo Colon?
Yeah, he's all right.
Or Primo Cologne, I should say, really.
Primo Colon. He's all right.
David says, Pete, leave my T-Pig alone.
Tepig.
Sorry.
It's like tepid, but it's a pig. It's a fire pig.
Game is dumb.
Tepig. Tepig's cool. It's the best of the bunch. It's still bad, though.
Flame Inc. said another idea was a Patreon-only live stream for questions answered. That gates it off.
Exactly.
Which I'm not overly keen on.
That's what we don't want to do, is because we had an idea when we were pitching things back and forth to have, we'll only read out some of like a certain amount or more and stuff, and we don't want to gate it off, really. We don't want to, put a paywall behind the content that we're already given. Ollie's here now.
Hey, Oliver Davis.
Hey, Ollie.
Are you off to the gym?
I was going to say, I'm glad you said you're off to the gym.
To the
I thought you were going to put some
back
sort of sweatiness on us.
No.
That's good.
Gonna pump out some. How's the announcement going?
It's been mixed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been surprised. A lot of people really do like the super chats, and it's sad to see them go.
Well, this is just the trial phase.
Yeah.
We're just
Might
gonna
bring
do
it back.
For 2
We'll see.
weeks, and if everyone's like, "Man, I really miss giving you money," we'll definitely bring that back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
See how
Flaming
it
on that
goes.
subject has said an idea for the super chats. Cultaholic doesn't only answer over $10 chats. Why not do something like that? So my point on that was that because we've been giving them away at all levels.
Start stretching down, sorry.
Yeah, because we're giving them away at all levels.
really
That was
gonna be
we're now
here for
gating that off from other people, and I felt that was unfair.
Exactly. We don't want to put a monetary limit on talking to people,
Yeah.
really. So it's either we talk to people or we don't talk to people, one or the other.
See, the funny
I
thing is,
think.
we did. You see, super chats were. Super chats were
Right.
the. That was people were paid to talk to us effectively.
Yes.
Well, yes, but then we say, well, you haven't paid us enough. It's like
It's
if
a
you want to
raging
support,
debate.
if you want
Yeah.
to support us, then that's cool, and we can talk to you in the current.
Dave Kerr says, "What's your guys' stance on having a drunken ramble podcast?" We do have one.
We have one.
It's on our Patreon.
It's on Patreon.
At our one of our Patreon tiers has
It's another thing you got to pay for.
Yeah, it was one of our. We put a sort of a poll out of like what people would like to see from our Patreon, and one of the big things was doing a drunk podcast, which we do now once a month, and we'll be doing our next one on Friday.
WrestleTalk After Dark.
WrestleTalk After Dark. There's a lot of swearing.
Yeah, there is.
It is a sweary little show.
It's great.
And Ollie often talks about masturbation. All of his childhood stories.
Yes, isn't everyone's childhood stories end like that?
Not with your mates.
All right, see you later, guys. Biscuit's a great game.
We should probably end it off soon, I reckon.
We should. Well, we did have some super chats come through.
Oh God! That's a lot of super chat.
I
Don't
know, actually-
super chat. Not
Yeah.
on this stream.
Ironically, on this stream of all streams.
Yeah.
But where did we get to? I did that one. So David says, "Can NXT get their own video game real soon? It'll still be made by 2K."
No, I don't think so.
Kyrick, thank you for your donation. Oblivious Kari said, "You crazy? That's 1.5 hours of fun at work."
Yeah, well, sorry. We want to keep a bit more focused on the reviews.
Francisco says, "Did Jericho forget that Hager cashed Money in the Bank on him?" This is true.
That's true. That's a good
Jericho lost a shoe in the process.
Maybe that's how Hager's kicked out of the Inner Circle at some point.
Jerry the Hero says, "Am I the only one who thinks that whoever loses to the Fiend, their personality changes, like Finn turned heel, Brian turned face, Seth turned heel?"
Tin foil hat. Yes, that's a fan theory that I've heard. I don't think it's true. We'll have to see who he faces next and if that person changes, but I don't think that's the case. But it's a fun thing to look at, though.
Flaming says, Andy is heckling Pete. Haha, hashtag justice for Pete.
Thank you.
Oblivious Kari, did you say stacked?
Stacked. Yes.
Ricardo Holt, morning guys, take my money. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
House of Fura says, does anyone remember Cody having the literal and physical Ring of Honor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Super Kid, just want to hear you say rubber baby baggy bumper.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm sorry.
Your thing?
Yeah, I don't know, mate.
What?
I don't know.
What the?
What are you opening?
Man?
What are you opening?
That's so weird. Zoom out.
Give me it. I'll do it.
Yeah, what did he do?
Give me this.
HP make really, really bad laptops.
They do, don't they?
Like, it's remarkable. It's their job.
Right, here we go. Superkid515 said, nope, we read that one.
Yep.
House of Fewer said, MLW have Contra Unit versus Strong Hearts.
MLW do some really good stuff. Really, really good.
Totally. House of Fewer again said, please check out Animal Road Rise Up anime. I don't know what that is, so...
You're not being an anime lad, really, are you?
Not hugely,
Neither
no.
am I.
I like some. It's not an anime, but I like I like cartoons. Some of them, they're quite cool, like Avatar and Korra and Dragon Prince and Steven Universe was all right. Before I jump the shark. Gavin Wilson said, "Why advertise for people, then give it to Pete's mate, and not get back to people who put 2 days' work into scripting, filming, and editing a video?" So he wasn't hired because he's my mate. We had lots of people come in and audition for it. It wasn't just, well, Pete's mate's here, we'll hire him. There were 3, 4, 5 people
Something
that
like
came
that,
in
yeah.
to do
we
it.
did a fair number of screen tests.
Yeah, screen testing people, and they happened to like Dave. They liked the chemistry that we had on when we did the mock podcast together. So
it's just
that was the deciding factor.
which was always going to be kind of the case because you've got your friends in real life. So
Exactly.
your chemistry was so good that I think that was almost like the deciding factor for it. Not to say that the other guys that came in were great, because actually they were really, really good.
They were really good. And
really,
lovely
really
people.
strong. Really, and really, really nice people. Yeah. But we also couldn't get back to everyone. Like as you can imagine, the amounts of submissions we got for new hosts and new writers and new editors and stuff was a lot. A lot of people got in touch for it. So we couldn't get back in touch with every single person because that would probably take about a week's worth of work just to do like replies to everyone. So what we did is we just, of the hosts that came in, I think it was Ollie actually that did the selection. We just pick out the ones that impressed us the most in their video submissions. Yeah. And then we brought those people in for screen tests.
Yeah.
And of those people, Dave was the one who had the best chemistry on screen.
Correct.
Do you want to do a couple more questions, then we'll just end this off?
Sure. We did get one more super chat from Jefferson who said, do the show in Fiend red lighting. If you want our views to tank, then go for it. Is the channel shutting down, said Jake Leach? No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And we'll see. Reaper Wiggle said, do you want to see Bray Wyatt not as the Fiend in the ring? Not really. I think that might be the moment where it's a suffer and succotash moment. I think I don't trust WWE to do that moment right. So I'd rather not. But yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for this one. Thank you all guys for coming out and hanging out and chatting. Appreciate it. And bear in mind with the whole super chat changes, it is just a trial for 2 weeks. So if it all goes nipples north, then we'll scrap it and we'll go back to what we were doing before. But it's just something that we wanted to try out. We just wanted to let you guys know that's what we're doing rather than just going, and now this.
Yeah.
So just to give you a little bit of forewarning. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll see you guys on some more content soon.
Head on over to Twitch, Screenstalker's Twitch, because I'm going to be playing Castlevania soon.
Twitch.tv/Screenstalker. Luke's in Castlevania. Have fun. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.